Raya and the Last Dragon revolves around a girl named Raya who wants to stop these evil spirits called drones who want to basically take over the human population and turn them into stone. And then there is an antagonist who wants to stop them just as she does, but is fighting her in the process because she doesn't trust her. So basically, to stop these evil spirits from taking over the human population and turning them into stone, she has to get these pieces of an orb and bring them all back together. So, making this a very fun adventure film. Now, I'll start with some positives straight off the bat. This film had incredible animation. I loved every second of this film's runtime from a visual standpoint. And honestly, it's one of my favorite Disney films because of its animation alone. They also had a really good musical score going here. It was composed by James Newton Howard, and it sounded incredible. It was largely different from what most Disney films try to approach with their musical score, and it really matched the tone that this film was going for too. I really appreciated it all around. Another major positive I have with this film is the voice acting performances, particularly from Kelly Marie Tran as Raya. She was easily the best voice acting performance of this film. I also really liked Awkwafina's performance as the dragon herself, Sisu. There were some moments where she was pretty exaggerated, but she was playing a dragon who is the main source of jokes, main source of comic relief, and also the main source of exposition besides Raya herself. And they were trying to generate comedy out of a really exaggerated voice acting performance at times. It's not always necessarily a bad thing. There are moments where that works, but it's still something very significant to note. This film really works well too because they bring in a story that's not only fresh and new, but it's also really compelling. And they have a really compelling upbringing with this protagonist too. And they also manage to tie in a lesson that kids should learn. And that's why it works so well as a kids' film, because they don't try and just throw in a lesson in the final act. They actually tie it into the story throughout this film, and they make it really work. I also love the way they tie in Raya as the protagonist with Namari as the antagonist here, besides the evil spirits themselves. And basically, they're essentially working towards the same goal, but they have different ideas of how they want to achieve it, and there's something they both want from each other. It's a great hero and villain dynamic that works really well during the second and third act of this film. Now, one of my issues with this film is, honestly, the exposition. There are a lot of moments where they spend too much time going into exposition, they over-explain things, or they repeat things that the audience have already caught on to at that point. Another issue is that there are side characters in this film who shift personalities or traits very quickly to a point where it's unrealistic. And the character development in this film, with pretty much all the side characters, tends to be very rushed. But with those negatives aside, this is definitely a film worth watching for the really compelling story and the lessons that they're trying to teach to kids with this film. I'm giving Raya and the Last Dragon an 8 out of 10. But as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next video.